Becoming a parent changes everything. Your body, your mind, your relationships, your identity. I'm Katie, a mum of 3 boys and your host of By Your Side. Each week, I'll bring you honest conversations with trusted experts and real parents. No fluff, no shame, just the science and stories that help you feel seen, supported, and confident in your choices. Whether you're newly pregnant or knee-deep in toddler chaos, we'll explore everything from mental health and sleep to identity, guilt, and what it really means to raise a child today. Hit follow now and join us for new episodes every week. We're right here, by your side. Before we dive in, just a quick moment to say, if this episode speaks to you, please hit follow, leave a review, or send it to someone you know who's in the thick of it too. That's how we reach more new parents who need a little reminder that they're not doing it wrong. It's just hard. And don't forget, the conversation continues in the podcast lounge on the By Your Side app. That's where you can share your thoughts, ask questions, and help shape what we talk about next. All right, let's get into it. So this week I have an amazing guest, and as always, experts by experience in my mind are the true experts because they have just lived and breathed becoming a parent. And Jill, I met Jill through another route, but Jill is just this, she's just a legend. I'll let her introduce herself in a second, but Jill, you are just amazing. And I think everything that your life has brought you to now and your experience of becoming a mum but also your experience as a child is just something that I think everybody should hear, because I think being a parent is hard, becoming a parent is hard, but I think your story just shows people what you can become. So Jill, thank you so much for joining me this week.
Oh, thanks, Kate. Thanks for that. Well,
gushy, a truly gushy introduction.
I don't feel like a legend, but thanks. So my name is Jill Samukimba. I was born in Zambia. I was teenaged in Ghana, and I was adopted in South Africa. I love to use those words.
I love that. I love that kind of sense of growth, like a butterfly.
Yes, it speaks to the diversity in me and, the multidisciplinary, that kind of speaks to the kind of life that I've lived throughout and the kind of cultures, environments, and people that I've interacted with that have shaped my life till today. But anyways, we're doing introductions. So I'm Jill, born in Zambia. I came to South Africa for studies since 2014. So I've done my undergrad here all the way to my PhD, completed now, and I can now look forward to other things that life has for me. I'm a mother of one boy, 10-year-old, to be 11 in October. Have been doing mothering on my own since 2014 as well.
Yeah,
so that is me in a nutshell.
Yeah, so that's huge, isn't it? So that's a really nice term, actually, mothering on your own.
Yeah.
And that the fact that you've gone on and done studies and kind of held it all together is really, really massive. I'd love for you to speak a bit more to that kind of feeling of mothering on your own, if you don't mind, and just kind of what have been the biggest challenges, but also what have you learned or what helped and supported you?
So though I say mothering on my own, I actually believe and think that you actually can do it on your own. There will always be communities or people that will come along the way to help you mother or save you in that moment as you mother. So when I came to South Africa, obviously as an orphan, I didn't have anybody here. The people that helped me was the church, Redeemed Christian Church of God here in South Africa. So I learned a lot from the women in that church. I had no knowledge about what being a mother is, going through the pregnancy on my own, giving birth. I didn't know all that. So the women would come and wash my baby, teach me how to wash him,
Yeah.
teach me how to change him, all the basic things. So I had to like learn that as well and appreciate those moments. Then along the way as well, I had to work to survive,
Yeah.
obviously. So during those moments of time, there'll be people that would support me by looking after my child when I go to work. When I come back, I also can support them with looking after their children. So I've been on my own, but I've had people helping me along the way. And I think as a mother, especially when you're doing it alone, God will always send people to serve a purpose in the moment that you need, help and
Yeah.
assistance. Yeah. So it feels alone when I'm alone at home, but when I'm out there and I need help, it actually feels like I have a whole village raising my child.
Oh, and I love
Yeah.
that phrase I've heard before, it takes a village to raise a child. And I suppose I'd like
Absolutely.
to I suppose I think it could be really hard for not just women, but people in general to ask for that support or help. Was that something that you
Absolutely.
experienced, or was it just like, yeah, give me all the help you can, or how did that feel for you?
And absolutely. I love the way you've actually said it because that has been my reality. Generally, I struggle with asking for help. It
Yeah,
can be the smallest thing ever. I'll struggle to ask for help.
yeah,
So with my mothering journey, I actually didn't have to look for that help. It naturally came. So I felt like those people, like I'll repeat again, they were sent by God for that
yeah,
purpose because I needed them. I'm more of a loner. I love keeping to myself. And
yeah,
I'm always like solution oriented. I'll figure it out. I can do this on my own.
yeah. Modern
And
woman, independent, don't need anybody.
yes, absolutely. That has been me. So sometimes I'm awkward around receiving help as well.
Yeah,
So the people that have helped me along the way, they didn't even need my permission to help me. They just availed themselves to help me. So I didn't have to look for help. If I had to look for help and ask, I think I would have drowned. I
sure,
would have
okay.
really struggled a lot because, yeah, up to today, I still struggle to ask for help.
That's really
Yeah.
interesting, isn't it? Because what you're saying is that that support network was there. And I think
Yeah.
so many people, they feel that it's not. And you were saying the church for you was a community, and it's finding those communities where you could get that support, and people will readily give that support. And it's interesting
Yeah.
that I think it's one of those things that when you become a parent, you will hopefully more willingly accept support because it's kind of for the baby. It's for your child rather than you. So I find it really interesting to say that. And now, even, kind of further on in your journey, you still struggle to ask for support, yeah, for your
Yeah.
child.
I think it's absolutely, I think it's the internal work that one needs to do, really. Yeah?
Yeah.
Especially as a single mom, you're already struggling with your own internal judgment, your own discrimination, it's a lot already going on. And you are under the impression that people are perceiving you or receiving you or experiencing you in such a manner that you've crafted in your mind already. And
Yeah.
you need to let go of that mindset to be able to actually coexist with people and coexist not just for the sake of you belong to that community, but to do it in such a way that you feel like you actually belong and you deserve to be in those communities. Because many of the times I think single mothers already disqualify themselves from a lot of spaces, and they just feel like they don't belong because of the judgment that comes with being a single mom. So you mostly find them trying to isolate themselves. Okay,
Yeah.
because they're blaming themselves. There's a lot of issues internally taking
Yeah.
place. And because they're navigating that space with that mindset, with that judgment, they'll generally struggle to ask for help.
That's
Yeah.
so, I mean, it's so true. So, so true. And I wonder how much, Jill, because you talk with such a level of awareness of actually understanding your perception of other people's judgment. So it wasn't necessarily people's judgment. And there will be people that are what I call judgy. People are judgy.
Yeah.
That's human nature.
Yeah.
But actually, it's
Yeah.
more about your own perception of what you think they think. So
Absolutely.
does that come now from kind of that progression and that development in yourself, or were you able to do that at the time, do you think? Is it more of your looking back now, you just kind of went with it and people turned up? Or did you have that awareness of like, actually, I need to be aware myself that I'm thinking other people are thinking things about me, whereas I don't actually know that to be true?
Yeah. I think I'm actually reflecting now in high sense because back then I actually struggled with a lot of self judgment.
Yeah.
And I could see that people were actually not judging me because many of the people that I was surrounded around were elderly people. And I also saw like there's a difference in the way people experience you when you're pregnant and when the child actually arrives. So I'll actually tell you a story.
Yeah, go on.
It's a very short one. So I learned that and I used that for like sharing information around my child's as well, because being raised in an orphanage, I was extremely scared that I got pregnant when I was in my first year at university.
Yeah.
I just arrived. I didn't know what to do. So I decided that I'm not going to tell anybody.
Oh.
I'll continue going. Yeah. That I'll continue going to school. I'll do everything and I'll just move on as if nothing happened. Then the only time I shared the news was when my son was turning 1 year old.
How
Because
did you manage that? Okay, we'll come back to that bit, Jill. Okay, so you only told people
yeah,
when your son was 1 year old.
yeah. So
Ah,
and the reason why I had to now say it was because I wanted to celebrate him for his first birthday.
yes.
And then I was ready to like put him on social media and all those things. And I didn't want like my legal guardians who were responsible for my upkeep here in South Africa to find out through social media, including my orphanage as well.
Yeah.
So I had to like tell her this is what happened and blah blah blah. The response was actually exactly what I had anticipated.
Right. Okay.
They literally they didn't even question the pregnancy. It's like the pregnancy process was thrown out of the window. They were just going on with, how did you do it?
Yeah.
How come? All of a sudden that thing actually turned into, we're proud of you.
Yes.
Like you went to school, you continued, being a student and you did this on your own. How did you do it? They forgot about, the pregnancy. But if I had told them when I was pregnant, my anticipation, I might be wrong, would have been that I would have been stripped of my scholarship. I would have left school, and that would have been the end of me. So the response really was different. And I also saw it from the people that got pregnant while we were in the orphanage. They were literally, that was the end. They had to leave the orphanage, leave school. That was it for them. So I went into the pregnancy with that mindset
Sure.
and I navigated it with that mindset. Yes.
Wow, that's it's again thinking about, and we've talked about mindsets and our perception of what other people think, but you were basing that on what you had experienced and seen. So that
Yes, and observed. Yeah.
Jill, how, because the fear and the anxiety around that, and then the the ability to do that. And yes, you had people that came along to support you, and you had that bit of community, but you were effectively doing it on your own while studying. I can't even imagine how you got through that and dealt with that. Is that, what advice would you give to anybody who feels isolated, not sure if they can do it? Because you have, and you've just completed your PhD. I mean, it's just a phenomenal journey. What advice would you give to somebody who is worried about it?
I would tell them to be patient. I know they hear this quite a lot. It's now like, oh, it's just, someone saying to be patient, to trust the process. So the one thing I've learned, even working with students, because I do a lot of mentorship as well at UCT, the one thing I've learned is that it's very difficult to tell somebody who's going through something to say, it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Or, no, don't worry, it's all going to be over. Your life is not done yet. There's, light at the end of the tunnel. Because for them, their reality is now, here and now, right? So in that moment, they feel like it's the end of the world for them. And when you come in and you're like, no, it's not the end of the world. It's like you are undermining their feelings and the moment that they're going through at the moment, right? So what I would usually tell my students or anybody is that, just breathe, trust the process. If you have to cry, cry.
Yeah.
I cried a lot during my pregnancy.
Yeah,
I
good. It's good to
cried.
let those emotions through.
Yes, I cried a lot. And because also I'm a loner and I struggle to ask for help, I didn't really process my emotions. I didn't speak to anybody. I just bottled everything up and cried, cried myself to sleep or something. So really being patient and remembering that, there's light at the end of the tunnel, remembering that it's a phase. And I think what helps me even today is every time I'm going through something, be it negative or positive, I always remember it's a phase and people have gone through this phase and they've survived.
Yes.
Surely I will also survive and this phase will not kill me. I'll thrive. So I always, say, remind yourself it's a phase. And as we grow, we'll be going through different phases in life. It won't always be smooth sailing. We need those, hurdles to grow. We need those challenges to grow. If we don't have those challenges, we will never know what resilience means and what endurance means. We will need those hurdles to grow and to also learn about the type of person that you are. No, because you need to know you before you can even interact with the broader community adequately. If you don't know you, everything around you will be a trigger. No, everything around you will be, it'll be a lot. It will be so chaotic. But if you know who you are, somebody can actually be triggering you. You won't even recognize that it's a trigger.
Yeah.
So I think that is what I can advise. Be patient, trust the process. It's a phase and you need to go through that phase.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're going to win and everything will be all right.
Oh, Jill, they are such wise words. And I love that. I love that phraseology of a phase. I often say it's a chapter in your story. Yeah, same thing. It's not, that's not the whole story. It's not the whole of it. But what I really love, and I think your personal story really speaks to that, it's challenging. I mean, you had bags and bags of challenge, but becoming a parent for anybody, no matter how well connected your social network, no matter how well you think you're prepared, it's a challenge being a parent. And actually that part of that challenge is you learning who you are in a different way. And I think everybody with your baby or babies, if you've had multiple births, it's teaching you more about yourself that you would never have known before you have that child.
Absolutely.
And as like you were saying, that element of growth is just so important. You need that challenge. It's horrible and it's challenging, it's difficult, but it makes you grow so much more as a person. And what I love about you and your story is the way that then puts you in a position that you can then give back even more as your baby and child grow into your community. And I wondered if because you've mentioned a couple of times about being an orphan. I wondered if you wouldn't mind kind of speaking a bit to whether that had any effect on how you felt as becoming a mum.
Yeah. Oh, well. Okay, so first of all, the first instinct really was, oh my gosh, failing this person that I'm bringing into the world, because my my desire, honestly, my plans or whatever was like, I'm going to bring this human being into, a full family with a father, mother in there, give uh, give this person everything that I never had. That was the plan, that was the desire, but life happened and I had to embrace the changes that came with it. So I kind of questioned my parenting style for a long time. I was, am I doing the right thing? Is this, am I raising him in the manner that he should be raised? Especially because I didn't have that module.
Yeah.
Is that the word?
Yeah, I
Yes.
like it. Yeah, yeah. You didn't have that lesson. That's cool.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So I didn't
Yeah, that
see,
module. Yeah, I like it.
yeah, because in the orphanage, we were raised by two women. We called them mothers. So
Yeah.
two women. And then we had a communal father,
Oh,
who
wow. Okay.
he
Yeah.
was he was more like a technical administrative father.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Did the
Yes,
paperwork.
yes,
Yeah.
did the paperwork and all those things. So I didn't have, where to, to fall back on, get lessons on how to raise him. So I struggled with questioning my capability as a mother. And yeah, but I think that led to, I don't want to say the wrong words, but I'm going to use the
Yeah.
words
Go
that
on.
are coming up in my head. There's this issue of over compromising.
Yeah.
That's probably not the word. Overcompensating, maybe.
Ah, okay.
I think that is the word, where because you desired something different for this person and you desire to fill the void in your own heart
Yeah.
about what you didn't have, and you want to do that, oh, close that void through this person, you probably do more than what they need in
Okay.
that moment. I don't know how we could tame that.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that makes perfect sense, Jill. And I think I think that sometimes bears out in it's called the good enough mother. I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough. And I think that's the
Yeah.
root of it. I think that's that that concept that we have for our child, that we want something
Yeah.
for them, and that's often based on our own experience coming up. We either want. I think there's very few people that were brought up in this idyllic, perfect parenting
Yeah.
scenario that they want exactly for their child what they had. I don't think that's very
Yeah.
common. I think most people they try and fill that void. They want something different, or they have an ideal of how they think it will be for their
Yeah.
baby, and they almost
I think
overcompensate.
we should celebrate that. It's just for like orphans or people that didn't have, something to shape their parenting style.
Yeah,
We are constantly navigating that space. Am I
yeah.
doing enough? Am I doing it correctly? And then you also, even sometimes I struggle to say no to my child, or I'll say no
Ah,
because I genuinely do not have capacity to give him something. And I'll say no because I don't have the capacity,
yeah.
but I'll feel so bad.
So guilty afterwards. Yeah,
Yes, I feel so guilty. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope I can give you a better life next time. And I look at him, he's a happy child. He's healthy. And I try to have a relationship with him. That's my kind of parenting style where I check with him constantly. How am I doing? You know,
Yeah.
or I ask him like randomly, if you were to choose a mom, what kind of mom would you have?
Yeah.
To just hear if I'm on the right track.
Yeah, do I fit that criteria? I think I might be
Yeah.
afraid to ask my children that. It's like, oh dear.
No, I ask him and he'll just, tell me, and he's always happy, always healthy. So yeah, but I always kind of question myself if I'm doing the right thing,
Yeah.
if I'm raising him correctly.
Jill, I think your story is just so incredible because of where you've channeled all of that energy, that you have taken those connections, even though that you're aware, you refer to yourself as a loner quite a bit, but when but when those opportunities come up to connect and the support's been offered, you've taken those and you've accepted those. And
Yeah.
the fact that you've gone on to the fact that you held your studies for a year and didn't tell anybody about your son is
I had to
amazing.
step myself.
Yeah, it's just amazing. But I suppose the closing bit, or my closing question I would give to you that I do to other guests on the podcast is, if you could go back in time and speak to that younger Jill, who, as you said, cried herself to sleep and was so worried about the future, that was pregnant and faced raising her little boy on her own, what would you say to her?
I would say, well done, girl. You
Ah,
you did it. You did it, and it worked out at the end of the day. I would tell her to keep moving, and I'll tell her to, embrace community more, embrace friendships more, networking. You won't believe I'm not very good at networking. Eh?
I wouldn't believe that, Jill. I really wouldn't.
Ah, I'm not very good. So I would actually tell her to speak up, ask for help, go to therapy. I
Yeah.
still haven't done it till today. I need to go do it. Yeah. So
Yeah, but I
tell her
think you're very self-aware, Jill.
I am. I think my superpower is acceptance.
Oh, I
I
love
think
that.
it probably comes with being an orphan. You accept your reality very quick and very early on. And maybe it's something that also they don't really talk about a lot in the orphanage space, is that we kind of trained to detach.
Yeah.
No, we detach so easily from everything and everyone. But in that detachment process, we value the here and now. So whatever
Yeah.
is happening in that moment is what we put more value on, because we don't know how long that thing is going to last or how long that person is going to stay in our lives. And I think it came from, when we're young, then we'll have visitors come stay with us, maybe 2 days, 3 days, and then we have fun with them and then they leave. So we learned from a very early stage that, oh, people come and go. So when you have that moment, value that moment, have fun with the people, but remember that they are not here to stay forever. Wow, this sounds like a superpower. It's also it's a disadvantage, maybe a trauma response.
Sure.
Yeah, because that has also affected my abilities to network and, put in effort in my connections. I think the connections that have survived in my life are those that genuinely love me and want to stay in my life.
Yeah.
And because they've showed that, I now put in effort as well to meet them halfway so that the effort is not only coming from their side, but it's being made from my side as well.
Yeah.
So that is it. So I would definitely go back in time and tell her, value connections, put effort in networking, take up the opportunities that come your way, and speak out because people are willing to listen and to help.
Yeah. Oh, that's fabulous. That's such amazing advice. You're just such a legend, Jill. Honestly, I am just in awe of everything that you've done and your level of self-awareness that you can reflect on what was going on for you, and just that you've done such an amazing job with your son. So, Jill, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me. I enjoyed chatting with you.
If this episode gave you something to think about, made you feel a little more human, or helped you feel a little less alone, it would mean so much if you could like, subscribe, or leave a quick review. It's a small thing that makes a big difference. And if you want to talk some more about what came up today or ask a question for a future guest, come hang out in the podcast lounge inside the By Your Side app. It's free to join and it's full of people who get it. Until next time, you've got this and we've got you right here by your side. Just a quick note before we finish. What you hear on this podcast is here to support you, not to replace professional advice. Everyone's situation is different, so if you're worried about your own well-being or your baby's, please speak to a qualified healthcare provider. You deserve support that's tailored to you.